Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is a video for mod 29 uh, tank single target build. This is a bit much more different from my previous one. Also, on the description I will link the link for my AoE tank build. It's pretty much the same, doesn't change anything. So I will show you at this moment what I'm currently using. Stats, this is my raw stats, I don't have anything buffed and I'm not in group. So my maximum hit points will increase if everyone has the VIP um, option, the feature, sorry, because each member gives 1%, so it will increase by 5%. You will see my awareness increasing by a few points, by 10%. That's because it's from one of my rings. And also my stamina is at 71%. This also works with the ring. So as a helmet I'm using the new one, the Enchanted Forge Helmet. This one drops from the second boss in the master layer of the Mad Dragon. This one, as same as the Master Imperial Citadel helmet, has the same bonus but differs on the stats. So this is a bit better because it has defense and critical avoidance, and the bonus is the same because every 5 seconds during combat you gain 0.4% stamina regeneration and 0.8% awareness. This one stacks 8 times, so after 50 seconds to 1 minute practically you will have 4% stamina regeneration and 8% awareness. I'm still using the Abyss Conqueror's Provoker's Crewcast because of the bonus. The new tank chest piece from the master layer of the dungeon is not, what can I say, it's not best in slot because the bonus it's based on certain situations and it has a cooldown, so you don't have to rely on cooldowns. I'm still using also the Abyss Provoker, the Conqueror's Provoker gloves because the bonus increases 1% power and awareness, but I lose 2.5% movement speed for 5 seconds, but stacks 10%. As a tank, you can just use your shield block and it will automatically remove the movement speed stack. For weapons, I'm using both of the Master Imperial Citadel for two reasons. One, because this is the best in slot for the moment so far. You have 5% damage resistance, and when facing one target, basically you will face one enemy when facing bosses, you gain a stack of 0.6% reduction incoming damage because it's negative. So this stacks 10 times and it's at 6%, so it will still have a 6% less incoming damage. For boots I'm using the new Enchanted Forge Greaves because of the bonus and of the hiding level. There are also a few options you can use. You can use the Abyss Conqueror's Provoker's Cruise Crash because you will always be close to your target, and when 20 feet or closer to your target your defense will be increased by 5%. There is another boots from the Master Imperial Citadel, I think they drop from the first boss, which the less you have hit points you will gain critical avoidance, so you have three options there. As the neck, waist and artifact set, I'm using the new Caldera set because of the high item level. I'm not using the Tiamat set. I don't have any issues with this new set. Um, it also the bonus. It's when you're a tank, you generate more threat. Both rings are still from Master Demon Webpits. They both drop from the chest rewards. The Manticore's Bane, whenever you use a daily power, the next enemy that attacks you takes equal damage of 50% of max health points. This helps you as a tank to keep aggro when popping everything, artifacts and mounts. And the other one is when you're standing still for 6 seconds, your awareness is increased by 10% and stamina regeneration is increased by 5%. That's why if you see my stats, they increase from 73 to 83% because I'm standing still. I'm still using the Dazzling Feather shirt because of the awareness stats, and also because whenever you deflect an attack, you have a 10% chance to reserve 5% of your maximum hit points. And lastly, the LoL's Embrace Chaos lower because of the critical avoidance stats, and you always have combat advantage when facing a boss, so you will also gain 15% action points, and you can generate your daily faster. You can rotate. Today, the new artifact Heart of the Volcano was released, so you can rotate between these two as your main artifact, depending of the how is the artifact sorted with your group. This one, because of the 50% stamina regeneration, the new artifact also has the same stamina regeneration. This one works the same as the Black Dragon's Mark. um, Melts Armor Melt, increases 10% damage from all resources, and also gives you a buff 10% reduction damage. So basically this is practically best in slot as a tank for the moment. But you can rotate between the two because the debuff from Mythalar Fragment is 50% damage resistant, it's lowered. Also, the Symbol of Water, the new artifact, because of the 50% stamina regeneration, and the Caldera, Jewel of the Caldera as well. Between my stats, enchantment will depend on what you want. Basically, I have all Celestial's Return because increases my deflection. Utility, I have Celestial Garnet for the fort. Bonus will depend on the encounter in certain situations. For an example, if you're doing the first boss of the Master Lair of the Mad Dragon, this will help you move faster when the first boss uses their fire breath, because you have to move quickly. You can also switch between the action points, or you can also use the stamina regeneration, depending on what you want, and as I said before, depending on the situation. I also have the Celestial Fortitude Nature, because each hit, when getting hit damage, you increase your defense, awareness, and deflect by 3.6% for 3 seconds. So this is basically what I'm using. The Overload Bulwark of Brimstone increases 5% my maximum hit points, and the Unholy Protection increases 5% critical avoidance and deflection. Now, um, regarding my powers, as a single target, I'm still using the Radiant Slam, and I'm using the Shielding Strike because this helps regenerate my stamina faster. I'm using the Smite together with the Divine Challenger because it places you on the top of the threat list, so you can uh, grab aggro really fast. Also, I'm using the Absolute Encounter, decreases damage taken by 20%, lasts 8 seconds, and the Binding Oath, that deals radiant damage to attackers whenever you get attacked or you take damage. Duration 12 seconds, but also adds a stamina restoration, so this one can help you get stamina regen to block faster. As dailies, I'm using Divine Judgment. This one helps you with the holding aggro when you call artifacts and mounts. You can use it because it goes in hand with the manticores. Also, depending on the situation, you can use the Divine Protection, which reduces damage by 30% and guarantees you another 30% of awareness. Each one duration is 6 seconds and 12 seconds the other one. And I'm using the Aura of Valor. Now for the feats, I'm using Sacred Shield, I'm using Burning Vengeance, I'm using Divine Pursuit, I'm using Shields of the Gods, and lastly Intimidated Presence. This one, it's a bit better because when you press the R1 button, the aura you generate will increase the dot damage on the enemies, and you will get aggro pretty fast. As for booms, the campaign, I went with all the defensive ones, the bulwarks as well, marathon runner to have 12.5% of speed, As advanced booms, I have the Welcome Blessing, Masterclass, Second Wind, and Call of the Power. For the master ones, I have Death Bulwark because whenever you get hit 50%, when you get hit more than 50% of your maximum hit points in a single blow, you have a 30% chance to do the following for 10 seconds. You get a 2% defense, 2% critical avoidance, and you can get temporary hit points equals to 2% of your maximum health points per rank. I also have the focus retaliation because it gives defensive stats every time you use an encounter. Life lessons, 10% on chance to use the following. Well, you're always using more at wills than encounters as a tank. And you're also using enhanced application. And lastly, the Blessed Resilience. I don't go with Blessed Advantage because it increases power and recharge speed on the second and third rank. It could be useful for the rank 1, but I using this one better because it increases defense, increases maximum hit points, and heals stamina by 5% of targets plus 2 per rank over 10 seconds. As the booms for the stronghold, it will depend on what you need on your stats. I'm going with power, defensive. As I said, you can choose between defense, awareness, defense, or critical avoidance, depending on your stronghold as well. You can have deflect bonus or you can have maximum hit points. If, for example, your critical avoidance, defense, and awareness are capped, you can go with hit points if deflect is not capped yet. So you will depend on what you need. Utility, I'm using movement speed for getting the 10% movement speed. For companions, depending on the situation as well and how it's sorted out with the group, you can go with druids, which increases 3% damage. You can go with flapjack, this one, as long with the tutor, the 5% or above that they give, it stacks. So let's say in a trial you have two of these, it will give 10% on combat advantage. Black Death, it's always for combat advantage. You can also have Spine and Minotaur Mercenary, which I use in my AoE build. Um, Equipment, I have 3 of the new equipment gear from the new campaign, the Mount Note How. I have Molten Grill of the Companion, which is Gibson and Deflection. My bonus, I'm using the Undying Overload, which reduces incoming damage by 7.5%. Raptor Instincts, it's a support companion which increases your party members' power. I'm going with Dwegar Guard's Discipline, increases critical avoidance, Deceptive Insight, 3.8 defense and awareness, and Golden Deep Growth Presence, which increases awareness by 7.5%. Now, for mounts, I'm usually going with Bot Swarm, depending on the situation as well. For example, on the first boss of the Master Lair of the Mad Dragon, I'm using T-Rex because it can help you stun and kill all the summon enemies that spawns. Acute Paro I use in pack tactics. You can also go depending on what the other group members need. You can go with Mythic Aura, you can go with Runic Aura, which increases power and defense, so it will depend on how your group is sorted out. For the stables, I have recently the new Fox, which gives me Lionheart Presence. I'm mostly have blue insignias, as you can see. The green ones, which is dominance, it's because Illuminate doesn't have any blue insignias that gives courage or evasion. So for these ones, I'm using the whenever Lionheart's Presence. Um, it gives hit points when it's below 30%, and you can also gain 10% stamina regeneration. I'm using Night Commendations. I think I mentioned it before on my previous video that ever since the combat system change, awareness was not reliable stats because you were always facing the boss. Since they changed that, um, every boss encounter, the boss always has combat advantage to you. So this will always be a good bonus because you will have combat advantage, and you will get the insignia. Whenever you receive combat advantage damage from an attack, you will be healed by 7.5% of your maximum hit points over 6 seconds, and it has a 10% cooldown. You can use 2 of these because when you use another one, its effect is reduced by 50%. I have 2 Protector's Covenant, which decreases offensive ratings and increases defending ratings. Same my last one, Glider's Gall, which if my stamina is above 75%, I move 10% faster. When your stamina is below 25%, I get another 10% stamina regeneration. And you can see this one doesn't have any buff, any cooldown, sorry. So whenever your stamina is above 25%, it resets. So it's good to use it. As a colors, I'm using AP gain for getting my daily faster back. I'm using incoming healing. I'm using stamina gain. I'm also using gold bonus. You can, this one it's optional whenever you want to use. And lastly, at will powers do 5% more damage. So this is my new tank, my recent tank build, single target. So you have any? Oh, we'll use at the moment some. I will buff, so you can see how my stats look while buffed. As you can see, my defense, awareness, critical avoidance, and deflect are capped. I have 80% on defense. 80. Well, I have the 78.5% of awareness. I forgot to use my belt. This is 81%. Critical avoidance is at 81 and deflect is at 64.75. You can also use the legacy one, which increases deflect by 10%, or you can also use Fizzy Brew, which increases your movement speed by 10% and increases your awareness by 5. It's good to have deflect above 50%, not below it, because you have a better chance to deflect attacks, and deflect severity, it goes in hands with this. Whenever you deflect, this one goes in, triggers, and you will deflect 35% of the incoming damage. Critical avoidance also decreases damage of a critical landed by an enemy. This is always constant. Awareness, it's always constant because you always get combat advantage when boss encounters, and decreases your damage taken by 80%. Fort can also be a good stat if you can manage to cap all these ones, which increases defense and deflexibility. Well, we depend on the class because other classes have different fort with bonus. And your stamina regeneration, if it's above 70%, you're good because you will have faster stamina to use your shield block. I will try to use the boss encounter at the moment to see how my stats look when facing an enemy like boss. You will see defense and awareness is already capped. Critical, I didn't know why it went below. Deflect is going up. You can also use your dailies because of the gloves I'm using. So my buff, let's see how it goes. Warden stamina, it's at 8 stacks, 9, 5 more seconds and we will get the 10 stacks. So this, when you're already in combat, these are the stats you're looking for, how they should look. Deflect, it's at 82/7, and my stamina regeneration is at 80. Because of the ring, it still has an 80%. So this is my single target build. If you have any questions about it, feel free to post your comments. If you like the video, please like it. If you like my channel, please subscribe. And thank you for